Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rasyid Ridha. Today I'm going to talk about genre versus register. So the first thing is, what is the variety of the text? So the text itself is like the all of the things that language use in the real life. So all of it in the written or speech form. So the variation of the text is like the variation of the how we use the language. So it has like a characteristic, a situation, or like purpose. So the next is genre, registers, and style. So the first is a genre. What is genre? Genre, for what I understand, is like the characterization of the, or how to organize the, how we characterize like this is this. So for example, like in the genre is based on the situational or the context, I think, in the real world. So for example, like this, in the situation of the academic, we have such thing like a genre like article or like research, and there are more subgenres in there. So like that. The next is registers. Registers is like the variation of the text that depend on the context, like all of them, from the meaning, from the structure, or all of that is depend on the context, like it's registers, like like that. Like there are three main point of in the register. The first is the situational, like in the situation, for example, like when we have a casual conversation, we have such thing like informal words, like informal tone, like more laid back, something like that. And the second one is like the linguistic features, such as the word, grammar, or all of the linguistic that uh, yeah, that acceptable in the context. For example, like in the case of conversation, we often use words such as I, you, or the casual word, the curse, all of that, that we cannot do in such thing like informal situation, such as the academic, business, and so on. And the third is the purpose. So all of them are purpose. For example, like in the conversation, because of conversation, we have purpose like sharing information or creating a bond, and etc. So the next is the style. Style is the aesthetic side, or the aesthetic thing that it's like a personal aesthetic of the using of the language. For example, like some of people, tends to use language polite every situation, or like it's like personal tone is what makes like it's reveal the identity of the people. How to explain? So it's about the identity. I mean, so the next is the text, variety, register, and dialect. First of all, text, like I explained before, text is the all of the language that all of how is text is how we use language in the real life. All of them, written or spoken, like casual conversation, interview, or in the written, such as the newspaper, storybook. All of that is the text. The variation is like the variation of the text, that the different text, the different type of text. While registers is the variety of text that depending on the context. Yeah, and the last is the dialect. So what I understand is that in the dialect is like the regional or the social, the culture structure, how we use the language. Well, for example, that I found is like in Texas, they often greet other people with the words howdy, like yeah, like howdy, or they often use y'all. That show who they are, another example, like maybe uh, in the Italian New Yorker, like I'm walking here, something like that. So it's regional. uh, what else? uh, Regional. The next, I think, is the text, the complete text and excerpt text. So the complete text first. The complete text is like the complete all of the text from beginning to the end. For example, if we analyzing like conversation, since the conversation began, since the first person try to say anything until until the end of the conversation, until the conversation is finished. So all of them is included, nothing left out. So what I understand is discourse analysis is analyze the complete text rather than excerpt. Excerpt is like the portion, the parts of the full text. For example, like in the book, excerpt is like a few paragraph or one paragraph, like sentence, one paragraph, something like that. Or in the conversation is like few turns of the conversation, like A person turns to B or something like that. So I think an excerpt usually analyzing like pragmatically, analysis pragmatic analysis, yeah, something like. And the last is genre and style. Genre and style. So genre in literature. So genre first is like the type of what kind of genre. Genre is like what kind of things that this is about. That, yeah, it's like a classification, like yeah, what kind of type or part of this being. So for example, like uh, that and genre has like a structure, pattern, and organization that makes them easy to classify. For example, like in drama, the genre of the in the literature is like drama, poetry, and fiction. So in this each genre has a subgenre. Like in the fiction, there is a horror, thriller, comedy, or romantic, and all of that. And the last is the style. The style in the literature. So in the literature, the style is the author personal touch. What makes the author different from other. Like it's like personal style, like personal aesthetic. So, for example, like in Cormac McCarthy, especially in the Road book, uh, it's very minimalistic, I think, and very vulgar about how they describe of the violence in the book. So that is style. I think that's it. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Maybe I think, yeah, I did. That's it. So, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.